No, that's right. It's never felt really comfortable with the way we were playing, and a lot of that you can equate to just the ball not going in the hole. Sometimes you execute well and you get shots and they don't go in. Tonight, though, I don't think we can look at that in the entire game and say we did execute well. I don't think we did execute well for many parts of the game, and we still got some shots, but it's just the nature of the game. There's a tempo, there's a flow, there's a style of a game that, for whatever reason, those same shots, when they come from a bit more of a set, or they come from a bit more purpose in the action, have a greater percentage to go in when you've been through that process. And the process to get shots today was sloppy, and I think we were inconsistent on the offensive end. We shot below 40%, but defensively, we weren't where we needed to be. You look at the total score and say, well, they didn't put too many points up on the board, but they shot 50 whatever percent. 52. You know, it's very hard to win games when the opposition is shooting above 50, 52. What was it? 52%. 52%. It's pretty tough. You know, I think at the end of the day, the scoreline, I was really proud of our guys, the way they stuck it out. Couldn't throw it in the ocean for a while, and we extend the D. They go a little conservative, trying to protect their lead and nurse the game home. But our guys stuck at it with some good extended defence, got a couple of turnovers, made a couple of plays on the rim, and gave ourselves a remote chance towards the end of the game. But as it was last week, and as I say this week, that's not championship basketball. We're not playing our best basketball right now, and it's been inconsistent over the last 4 to 6 weeks with our form. Inconsistent individually, but also inconsistent collectively. Now, sometimes they're interrelated, but just inconsistent, and somehow or other, over the remaining 4 or 5 weeks, the remaining 6 games, we got to try and find a way to get back on track. The thing is, that, and the message I gave to the boys at the end of the game was, we had one of our best weeks of practice we've had, I think, all season. Our form at training was really, really good. There was a level of intensity, both offensively and defensively. The ball's going in the hole, everyone's shooting well. And for whatever reason, it didn't transfer into the game. Now, one of the most significant reasons that didn't happen is because Perth. Give them a lot of credit. They played hard. They found a beauty in Cotton. He's a genuine player that's it's going to be hard to handle. And it's a tough situation that all the teams are facing, and we're very much one of those teams that got some problems.
Drew's sort of been harping on the defensive side of the ball a few weeks now. You've shown in patches that you can really play deep and get stops and convert down the other end, but you haven't been able to do it consistently. What do you attribute that to?
I'm not sure, but either way you look at it, it's not good enough. We give up 28 points in the first quarter and then hold them to 9 in the second. So when you start doing stuff like that, you put yourself in a hole early on. It's hard to get back, and a bit of that's we didn't get stops, and a bit of that's we didn't put the ball in the hole. So when you're not doing that, you're chasing back on D. You're giving up trans stuff. It makes the world a whole lot harder when you can't make shots, especially open ones. And we've got to sit back and look at that as well as our defense. I think it's a bit of both. When one side's not flowing, we can't just have the other side just completely die off too. So it's a bit of both, and as Drew said, a lot of consistency, but it's not good enough.
You were a commentator in the Olympics, and you sort of back in up and saying, well, can you talk to how much you changed?
Well, he really helps on the defensive end. He's that harassing guy. You saw him get a few steals, a few hands on things. Clearly, he's not at his best because he's a long time out of the game, and the level of competition here, it's hard to maintain that fitness and intensity, but he'll get it back quick. He's a genuine star of the competition. It's great that he's back. He's a tremendous guy himself, and would have liked him to add an extra week off or come back another week. But at the end of the day, I'm glad to see him out there because he's a great guy, great competitor, and he's going to make a big difference. The combination of bringing him and Cotton in is a big change to their team. You're talking about 2 very significant impact players that Cotton in particular was extremely good in a debut performance, and I think that he's going to be hard to handle. When you look at the guys coming to the competition with him and Casper and some of the point guards in the competition these days that can score the ball, it's pretty tough. So he's a good one, and that puts them in a really solid position. I think that the rumours of their demise of the Perth Wildcats have been grossly overblown. They certainly were never out in my calculations, and they're right back in the mix now with as good a chance as any to make the playoffs, and as good a chance to any to win this thing this season. It's wide open, and we would think that we would be ones that would consider a possibility, but we're not playing anywhere near the level that we need to play at to give ourselves a chance at the moment. But I believe that we've got some good tools, and that if we can refine them, we'll be okay.
One positive was the debut of Robert Dowd-White. He looked really short out there, 3 or 4 from the field. He had 3 with his first,
Yep.
really his first touch. Are you going to look to, he only played the 10 minutes tonight, are you going to look to incorporate him more into the system as time?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the way the game's been going, his first 2 games, it's been in a situation where, in hindsight, you probably, I look back and think, well, maybe I should have played him a bit more. But he's still not totally familiar with our system and what we're doing, and that's tough when you're in a crisis and offensively things weren't as smooth and we weren't executing like we need to. And it's hard on a kid. He's 18 years of age, and for him trying to run the team when he himself not across all the plays. He's a lot further advanced this week than he was last week, and I think next week he'll be even more advanced. And it's just, we just got to continue to nurture him along. And I don't want to put him in a position where I set him up to fail. Now, certainly tonight you look at it and say, well, he hit 3 or 4 baskets, had 10 points in almost 11 minutes of play. Fantastic. That's what we need. And he keeps building on that. He'll get to play more, and he'll work in well with the rotation that we've got going. But like I said to you last week, there's no doubting his talent. It's just him getting familiar with what we do and how we need to incorporate him into the rotation.
In the 6 games left, you're unfortunately in a position where you played 22 games, well more than anybody else. Do the goals or did the strategy change, or is it now just a matter of just game by game and just get that next win and build from that?
One of the things when I started out on this journey, I was determined not to minimise the use of cliches, because I don't like them, and they're redundant usually and just fluff. We're taking this one game at a time, because that is the reality of our situation. I'm not looking at the playoffs. We haven't looked at it. Like even at the start of the season, when we were a few games above, 3 or 4 games above 500, that was never part of it. It's about just looking at our next opponent, and our next opponent is the New Zealand Breakers, if I haven't got that wrong.
Yep.
And who are picking up a new player, battling for their season on their home court. It's tough. That's going to be a tough one. But that's my only focus now. And like I said to the fellas, let's just continue to look at the opponent. Don't look at how others are doing. Don't consider other margins, other results. Completely ignore them. Just worry about us. Worry about the game that we face. Focus in on that one. If we win, great. If we lose, we lace them up, figure out what we did wrong, and try and do better the next week. If you get too caught up in what other teams are doing, I think that can be counterproductive and have an impact on the outcome. So we just want to concentrate on ourselves, and if we stick together, continue to work together and apply ourselves like we did last week in practice, I think that we have the capacity to play the level of basketball that can be worthy of playoff contention. If not, we'll be watching it in the playoffs from home. If we don't improve on what we've done the last couple of weeks, we'll be sitting at home and talking about the what ifs. But we're not at that stage yet. We're very much alive. I've got great confidence in these guys. If we can stay focused, stay together, keep believing in each other, believe in the system, we have a chance. If we don't do that, we'll fail. We won't win. We will be out. We'll be sitting at home. So it's hopefully we can do that. If not, we try and figure out how we can do it better next time.